What would Jesus do? The question that has plagued youth groups since the 90s. Let's talk about it. What's up guys, my name is Jeff and I make YouTube videos just like this every single week to make faithful followers of Jesus and equip them to change the world. That sounds like what you're looking for? Do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe to this channel so that you can be updated every time I release a video just like this to encourage and equip you to change the world you're living in. Awesome. All right, so let's get started. The question is, what would Jesus do? Now, I've actually partnered up with a company and we have a lot of these bracelets. These may look familiar. These may look like the old school WWJD bracelets. I'm wearing one. Been wearing it for over a month now. I love it, but it is the answer to what would Jesus do? And the answer is HWLF. He would love first. And if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, you know that is my passion and that is my motivation, is that as Christians, I want to go out and be a light into a dark world, that I want to go out and love people, that they may know us by our love, not by our judgmentalness, right? Not because we are Christians and we're high and mighty, but because we love them, we must follow Jesus, right? If people see the love of Jesus in us, I believe we could change this world quickly. So he would love first. And that is not just an answer to what would Jesus do, but I believe it is a challenge for you and me, that you and I would go into the world and we would love people first. Before we judge, before we hate, before we condemn, before we turn away, before we do whatever we feel like doing, we would love first. So here's what I'm gonna be doing. I have a bunch of these. Now I'm gonna be running a couple giveaways. I'm going to be giving away almost all of these I have. So what I'm going to do is let me know in the comment what color you want. And I'm going to choose 15 to 20 people out of the comments. I'm just going to send you probably 2 of these. The idea is that you get one and then you give one to someone else. And you give it in an act of love. So you buy them lunch and you give them this bracelet and let them know, let them know about Jesus. If it's applicable for you, if you can do that, you tell them about Jesus. So leave me a comment down below about what color you would want. I have red, black, white, and pink. Let me know if you want any of those colors, and I'm going to randomly select 20 people to send these to. Okay? And I have a lot. That was just the little bit that I grabbed out of my bag. They sent me a whole bunch to give away. So we'll be running different giveaways. I'm going to be giving away some on Twitch. So if you'd like another chance to win, follow me over at twitch.tv/drheels. And I stream some video games there, but I'm also going to be giving away some on Twitch as well. Okay, so let's move into this. And before we can talk about he would love first, I think we first have to understand, what would Jesus do? And this is the real question today, is what would Jesus do? And I think to understand this, we first have to understand where the phrase was first uttered. If you read the book, In His Steps, What Would Jesus Do? It's an old book from the late 1800s, and there was a pastor that wrote it. And in the beginning, he writes about this pastor named Robert Winslow, Reverend Robert Winslow. Let me look that up just to make absolutely sure I'm not lying to you guys. I want to confirm that name. Henry Maxwell. It's not even close. I apologize. It's about Reverend Henry Maxwell. Now the story goes that Reverend Maxwell was at home on Friday night and he was preparing a sermon. And he's writing, and he's kind of stuck and he's conflicted, and someone knocks on his door, and so he goes down a little bit flustered, probably a little bit aggravated because he's already struggling with the sermon prep, and then someone else is showing up to bother him, and he answers the door, and it's this real homely looking young man, and he's probably in his 30s, maybe mid 30s, and he asks the Reverend, he's like, I just want to know if you know where I can find a job. I've been out of work for 10 months and I really need a job. And this is during a hard time, and there's no jobs available. And the Reverend says, man, I'm really sorry. I wish I could help you, but there's just no jobs available. And he sends the man on his way. Reverend Maxwell goes back to prepare for his sermon, and then Sunday comes around, and he goes to his big church. He's got this big highfalutin church. Everyone's in their Sunday best. You got suits and you got dresses. You have that big choir, a nice church. One of those churches where no one says anything. There's probably no hand raising. It's just, sister, right? One of those big churches, and the Reverend wraps up his message, and he's feeling good about himself. That was a good message, bro. It was a good message. I can feel it touching hearts. And all of a sudden, from somewhere in the back, they hear a young man say, I've been wondering about this. but the whole message. And he begins to walk up front, and I can feel that there's a silent gasp. as he walks up, because he's not in his Sunday best, right? He's kind of a homely looking young man, and he's sick looking, and he walks up and he says, I just wanted to make peace before I died, because I will likely die soon. This is not verbatim, but this is my paraphrase of what he said. And he says, 4 months ago, my wife passed away, basically of starvation. And my daughter was taken away until I could find a job. And I couldn't help but think, as my wife was lying in a bed starving, and I walked past a church and they were singing, all for Jesus I give. And these are the same people that they live in these big, nice houses. And they have more than enough food to spare. And they go away on summer vacations. And oh, they're doing well. But they sing all for Jesus. I'll give it all for Jesus. And he asks, I just have to ask, what does that mean? Does all for Jesus mean something different for them? All for Jesus. Because there are people starving and hurting, in desperate need. They may not look like you, but they need you. And then he asked the question, the perplexing question that would change this reverend's life, and it would go forth and to change the lives of many others. And this homely man, right before he dies, he asked the question, what would Jesus do? And they say he collapses right there in front of the pulpit. The doctor comes in and helps him off the stage, comes in and checks on him, and the reverend comes down and helps him, and they take him back to the reverend's house, and he's not doing good, and they call for his daughter to come visit, and he ends up passing away right before his daughter arrives. But that moment, that stranger changed this reverend's life with one question. What would Jesus do? And that's the same question we're asking you today. What would Jesus do? Every situation. We may think Jesus lived 2,000 years ago. That's not applicable to today. Really? Because I remember Jesus encountering hurting people, desperate people, broken people, people who were into a life of sin, right? I've seen God, I've seen Jesus love people that we would choose not to love. Realize that? Jesus, what did he see? He's seen hungry people. He's seen 5,000 plus hungry people. What did he do? He loved them, so he fed them. His best friend betrayed him and denied him 3 times, but Jesus loved him, so he forgave him. Jesus seen a criminal, a sinner named Zacchaeus, and he loved him, and he saved him. In fact, Jesus tells us a really interesting story that if you've ever heard the phrase, go the extra mile, this actually comes from Jesus. You see, in this time, the Roman soldiers could go up to any Jewish person, and by law, they could hand them anything they were holding. It could be his belt, it could be his lunch. He could hand him anything he wanted, and the Jewish person would have to carry it for 1 mile by the law. Jesus says when a Roman soldier comes up to you and makes you go 1 mile, go a 2nd mile. Why? Because you love him. You'll be known by your love. Did that Roman soldier need love? No, he was the top of the food chain. Jesus said to love him anyway. People that are hard to love, love them. People who seem like they don't want your love, love them. People that would persecute you, love them. People that you encounter at work, love them. People that you dislike at work, love them. People that you dislike in school, love them, love them, love them. He would love first. How could we change this world if we went every single day with the idea that we are going to love every single person we encounter, however we can, selflessly love them? Selflessly. We're not getting anything out of it. We don't want anything out of it. If they try to repay it, we almost deny it. How can we do that? Think about that. And if you win one of these bracelets, if you put in the comments what color bracelet you want and you win one, or even if you put in the color and you don't win one, and if you just really want one, send me a message and I'll make sure you get one anyway. This is not just a bracelet you wear. This is a challenge offered to you that you will enter life today and tomorrow with the objective to love first. To love first. I believe that we can change the world if Christians would gather together and love first. I believe that wholeheartedly today. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. Leave me a comment down below. Make sure you tell me what color you want. I'll contact you and get where you want me to send it to and all that fun stuff. I don't know if you noticed, but I got some new shades. I Are these shades since they're not sunglasses? No, not so much. I actually got these from a website called Firmu, and I paid like $25 for them, and they are actually prescription glasses, and I love them. If you're interested in something like that, I'll have a code down below that'll get you a discount. I do get a little bit of kickback on that, but it'll still save you money. So if you're interested in some new glasses, they have sunglasses and stuff too. Be sure to check that out. And if you haven't already, check me out on Twitch. If you're into video games at all, that's a place that I go and I play some video games and we can hang out. If you have questions about videos or questions about faith or Christianity, you can come and ask me live right there, and I'm always welcome. Always welcome a good conversation. So if you want to join me, I'll have that link down below. Anyway, guys, I thank you so much for everything you do. You guys are incredible. Love you, and keep living that bold life.